Shabbat Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us the truth. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect, Tabernacle of David, the brother Yashawan, and with a quick lesson, all right, going into news, reports, threats, and rumors, all right, of war. We're going to go start here at 2nd Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, meaning they're not taking their time, all right? And then when it goes into this next part, all right, it goes into how quickly in succession things will be happening. Because you got the perfect storm, you got all these different things happening, and the word is simultaneously, all right? And it's overwhelming a lot of people, and it will overwhelm a lot of people. Things are not going to slow down. They're not going to, when they shall say peace and safety, how can you say peace and safety when something else is going on at the same time, just as bad, okay? And it's going to come to a crescendo of just evil, meaning bad times, all right? Behold, the plagues draw nigh, they're getting close and are not slack. They're getting closer and closer. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. All right, meaning they're getting closer and closer without fail. All right. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, meaning that these plagues, these bad times, if you will, like nation against nation, race wars and rumors of wars and famines and pestilences, are just going to keep coming quicker and quicker and more with more intensity. Okay. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Meaning nobody's getting away. Everybody's going to have their own personal drama or tribulation, if you will, and nobody is going to be exempt from it. Those that have prepared, you done prepped, you done got all your food in, it's going to do no good. Only the elect of Israel, with the thawab, meaning exempt from judgment, all right, are going to get through this, but everybody has to go through the trials and tribulations. Everybody's going to be tried, all right? Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, your own situation. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth, all right? Then it goes into buying and selling, okay? And he that buyeth, he that selleth, okay? This goes to the charagma. All right, don't worry about buying and selling. If you have that charagma, you're going to make it. He that selleth, let him be as if he fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. Don't worry about that. Okay? Then it goes into that in detail. Right? In other words, hey, we're in the time of evil. The bad time has gotten here. What are you going to do now? You got to rely upon your faith. All right? So let's watch this vignette, if you will, on Don't Speak News. What's his name? Johnny Bravo? Johnny Flash? Okay. Don't Speak News, February 22nd, which is today. War news. Putin says Ukraine must be dematerialized. Russia evacuating Ukraine and burning documents. All right, that's what you do. When you're about to be overrun, you start burning critical information, if you can. All right, so let's watch this.
Well, here we go. Back to the war situation. Putin, Minsk agreements no longer exist. Ukraine must be demilitarized, give up NATO ambitions. And their Foreign Minister Lavrov says this: Ukraine does not have sovereignty outside control. So here we go, guys. Johnny Storm Don't Speak News. The situation with Ukraine has gotten very much worse on Tuesday. Multiple launch rocket systems are now being fired by Ukraine, while the Russian Security Council, their Senate, granted formal approval for Russia to use its military forces outside the country, which is, on RT and CNN and everywhere else. So I don't need to keep showing multiple sites, guys. I'm just not going to do it. Go.
All right, so whatever happened yesterday with the signing of the agreement should have stopped the escalation of whatever they're calling that situation over there, all right? Because now these two provinces are being looked at as sovereign. So that should have stopped the situation. But of course, it's not going to stop, all right? It's not going to slack for a moment, and it's only going to grow. The labor pains are going to continue on in intensity until the baby is born, all right?
Google it for yourselves. The economic sanctions being imposed against Russia by the West are being laughed at.
Okay, what? Economic sanctions being imposed are being laughed at? What does that mean? How are they going to retaliate? How is Russia going to retaliate? They've already said it. They're not going to drop bombs first. What they're going to do first is cyber attack. On who? On Babylon the Great. Okay? But the language now being used by diplomats is not a laughing matter at all, meaning this is asymmetric war. All right? It's going to be different. It's not all bomb dropping. Cyber attacks are a method of the greater world war at this point. Okay? EMP. They didn't have EMPs in World War II. All right? But here we are in the age of cyber warfare. All right?
The language now being used by diplomats is not a laughing matter at all. So this morning, responding to a question from a reporter, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said something stunning. A reporter questioned Lavrov about Ukraine having the sovereign right to join NATO, and Lavrov replied, Ukraine does not have sovereignty. It is controlled by outside forces, which anyone that's been following the situation understands that in 2014, NATO and the United States helped foment a coup, a military coup in Ukraine, in which the former leader, who was a Russia supporter, had to flee. And ever since then, Ukraine has had puppet governments that are controlled by the West installed. So now later in the afternoon, Russian President Putin responding to questions as to whether or not Russia had withdrawn from the Minsk agreements. He said the Minsk agreements no longer exist. Ukraine must be demilitarized and give up NATO ambitions. Elsewhere, the scheduled meeting between French Foreign Minister Le Drian and Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov has been canceled. And there's no need to meet anymore, guys, because they're not getting anywhere, and they haven't been for months. Meanwhile, countries that previously told their diplomats to relocate away from Kiev to places like Lviv are now telling their diplomats and families to get out of Ukraine entirely. Numerous countries have given that precise directive today.
I have a friend, former friend, who had relocated to Kiev, Ukraine, married a woman over there. Both of them right now are in Oregon and not allowed to. I know he's not allowed to go back because of this very thing right here. So the thing is real. All right.
And guys, yeah, they're going to go all the way. They're not going to stop at Kiev. They're not going to stop at Ukraine. They want to push NATO back. And once NATO gets involved in this, which they will, they already have really, but once they really get involved in this, it's game on.
So as you can see, the pains are not going to slack for a moment. They're only going to get greater and greater until the baby is born. And what is the baby? World War III and the eventual melting of Babylon the Great. This thing is moving forward. Nobody can stop it. It's game on. All right. Watch this thing grow like a wildfire.
Now, one of those countries is Russia. They're also getting out. In fact, it's now circulating on social media showing Russian diplomatic staff in Odessa, Ukraine, burning documents, as you see here. I've got it pulled up here as well on Twitter. So, lots of video showing burning of documents at the Russian consulate in Odessa. And that's what you do right before you go to war. And so, more of it here, here. And we can also confirm smoke is rising from the main Russian embassy in Kiev. They're burning their documents as well. And here's a video of it here in Kiev. Now, one government official from a European country with whom Hal Turner is in regular contact says Russia's pulling all their diplomats out of Ukraine, which means a bloodbath is coming. Yeah, that's the reason you pull diplomats out. As if Ukraine couldn't do any more damage to itself, the Rada, their parliament, is considering severing diplomatic relations with Russia. A bill to do that is now under consideration, and there it is. The fighting is already damaging common infrastructure, and large internet outages are now reported in both Donetsk and Luhansk, and that's on RT and other places as well.
Large internet outages are reported now. Okay, this is cyber warfare. Guess where those outages are coming? See, because if you haven't noticed, Russia has been being blamed for everything on the internet going back for the last 5-8 years. So what is this devil going to do? He's going to make hay with that. All right. They could shut down everything in the U.S. and blame it on Vladimir right now. Okay. They could shut down the banks. They could shut down the internet. They could shut down the power, the grid, if you will, and simply say it was Russia. You see how they created that boogeyman? All right. They used Ukraine to do what? To create a boogeyman to do what? Whatever the hell they want to do right here in America. Not that Russia's doing it, but it can be said that whether they did it or not, Russia did it. Okay? And we know who the target is. The biggest faction of the target, which is the elect of Israel, is right here in Babylon the Great. Let's not be distracted. All right, we know what's really going on under all of this distraction, bread and circus. Oh, we're gonna have a war. What side are you on? In the super war, like the Super Bowl, right? This is the super war. Direct your attention over here while we distract you from what the real situation. What is the real situation? We got to get the elect of Israel and take them down. That's really what all of this is about. So don't get it twisted, all right? Let's listen to 5 more seconds of this.
Movement of Russian heavy armor and now infantry troops is taking place on a massive scale all around Ukraine. And that's being confirmed here on the Military and Foreign Affairs Network on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the homie right there. Okay, so the voice of reason. All right, so, I mean, all of this is a song and dance. If you're going to, what's going to happen is they're eventually going to bomb the shit out of each other. So just do it now. What's the song and dance about? The song and dance, the slow build up, you know what that is? That's all a distraction from what they're actually. Why in Russia are they accepting Bitcoin as currency now? Because they're leading their people into the NWO as well. They got Putin over here acting like he's not down, but really he's down. So this is a song and dance, all the way up until the point where the Most High forces Vladimir, the King of the North's hand, and turns him. All right? You can put hooks in his jaws and turn him. But right now, they're doing a slow song and dance as they distract everybody from what their real goal is, which is to bring in the new currency or the CBDCs and that whole thing and try to bring in the New World Order. All right, so that's good with that. We'll go ahead and close it. So the point is this, nothing is gonna, slow down, if you will. All right, pursuant to the scriptures. All right, they're not going to slack a moment. All right, but what is going to happen? All right, let's just get that and close. Revelation 11 and 14. All right. Revelation 11:14, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And where they haven't declared war, soon, very soon, they're going to come out and say, well, the United States has declared war on the United States, NATO, and the European Union have declared war on Russia. Okay? The beast and the great whore that rideth on top of it, right, are at their wits' end because Vladimir, for some reason being the Most High is directing his step, he won't comply. All right. So that's what is going on. Keep your eyes open. Here we go. With every day that passes, that gets quicker and quicker because the Most High is making every day shorter. You got to keep your eye on the ball. It's almost time to swing. All right. With that, we hope that the elect were edified. With that, Shabbat Shalom.